Gary, are you hosting today's video?
I think you took my spot. All right, bud.
Today we're talking about the dumpster fire that is the aftermath of the YouTubers versus TikTokers boxing fight, also known as the Ace Family Guy versus Bryce Hall event. At this point, you would think Austin is an alpine skier the way he just keeps going downhill. Remember in the last episode I made on this whole mess, Austin had a lot to say about LiveXLive, the production company he used for the whole Social Gloves event. Here's a quick recap of that.
Yeah, we're not even talking about pay-per-view numbers. We're not talking about brand deals. We're just talking about at the event.
Keep going.
So Social Gloves is not bankrupt at all.
Keep going. Okay.
The second thing is saying that fighters did not get paid. Yes, fighters have not got paid yet, including myself. But that is because LiveXLive, no one really knows the number of pay-per-view buys we did.
Okay.
Everyone knows how big the event was, right? You got some creators like Logan Paul saying we did 100,000. Obviously, he's gonna throw dirt on it because he sees me as a threat. He's in the same field I'm in, so it makes sense. I'm not mad at him. It's going to happen, and it's a part of the game. Then you got other creators like KSI saying we did 300,000, so no one really knows.
Right.
On the other hand, we got Gibb, who's one of the fighters that was in the event. He heard we did over 2 million pay-per-view buys, and that was in the locker room.
So after that little public stunt, Live by Live sued Austin for a small amount of $100 million. Holy shit. I'm still shocked about the numbers involved here. This is insane. For a YouTuber, Austin really got himself into a massive mess here. But it's also important here to note that Live by Live is not suing Social Gloves. They're actually suing Austin himself as an individual and his father as an individual, which makes things a lot worse for Austin. But as we just heard from Austin claimed he didn't know the numbers. And apparently he was also telling Taylor Holder and Bryce Hall that he didn't know the real pay-per-view numbers. However, it's now came out that he actually knew the numbers day by day and during the event hour by hour. And this information is quite the big deal to hear because it's actually come from the mouth of the CEO of Live by Live, which is the production company that did the event and the entity that's suing Austin. And this all came out in an interview that was done by Tom Ward, which was posted to his YouTube channel. Let's take a look at what Robert Ellen, the CEO of Live by Live, had to say about this.
You got to think of what the exact number is. Going into the last 48 hours, we were under $500,000 in revenues. Okay.
Wow.
So there was a really, I mean, we could have lost millions of dollars in this, right? So it made a nice comeback, right? Pay-per-view does happen mostly at the last second.
Yeah.
Now it's starting to make sense why the fighters haven't been paid yet.
And I do believe he would have probably been able to pay part or most of this if he didn't block if he didn't block cable and satellite. And he definitely would have been able to if he didn't fight my entire team. Dermot went to his house days before and sat with him and said, you must do this, right? The paid marketing is working. And he shut it off.
Wow. The only other thing question I have for you too, is there any responsibility on the fighter side? Again, I don't know how normal fights work, but do they normally get some money up front, or should they have been more wary of kind of going into business with Austin McBroom or gotten something before the fight?
So Austin didn't want the fight to be available on cable because he wanted it to be an internet-only thing. Why? Why would he ever do that? Why shoot yourself in the foot like that? But he elaborates more on this here.
Every ticket in pay-per-view in the history of pay-per-view, right, that has been sold was sold over cable and satellite. Will that change? Absolutely. Will he be right in 1 year or 5 years? It's very possible. Today, it is still a process. So we fought him like crazy. We battled, but it's his event. He had to make the decision. The second thing he decided was that he wasn't going to do any paid marketing. We had agreed to spend millions and millions of dollars in paid marketing, whether it's McGregor, whether it's Mayweather, whether it's Muhammad Ali. You spend money on television, radio, so on. And he decided and determined that he wasn't going to do any of that. And, you know, we knew there were telltale signs that, you know, there was real risk in the habitual behavior was continuing to grow that way, that if you were pulling out of paid marketing, you're not going to necessarily convert free people, free on YouTube and free on TikTok, and convert them into buyers. That's a really hard trick.
So Austin hires a world-class production company who's been around the block when it comes to live events, and he doesn't listen to them. He didn't want to spend money on traditional advertising, but he was completely fine with renting a private jet, yachts, supercars, and a bunch of platinum artists for the event. If that's not the most smooth brain move of the decade, I would be surprised. Bro, nobody's going to an 8-hour event to listen to 2 songs from Lil Baby.
So for us.
We didn't go. I didn't even know Lil Baby was going to be there. So like, we did not go there for Lil Baby. We went there to watch a bunch of influencers knock the crap out of each other.
Yeah, true.
And we also went there because we got free tickets and were invited out to there, and we did not pay our own money to go there. I would not pay my own money to go see that event. It sounds like Austin was just lighting money on fire days before the event was going to happen when he knew it wasn't going to sell as much as he thought it would. In his pitch deck to his investors, he only had one investor, which was apparently James Harden. No wonder NBA players go broke if they're just like investing money into like Austin McBroom's boxing match. In his pitch deck to his investors, he was saying that the event could do $500 million in pay-per-view sales. And there he is sitting there with $500,000 days until the event in his foreclosed mansion saying this is fine.
This is fine.
Yeah, apparently it wasn't fine. Yet, Austin still had this press conference saying it was a massive success. Is he just trying to gaslight us? But Tom asked the question if Austin could just bankrupt himself and, I guess, dodge all of this.
But I'm told, and I don't know this is a fact, that James Harden's contract has a first position, but it also has a personal guarantee. If he's got a personal guarantee, he's either taking his house if he owns it. It sounds like from the papers, he may not own it. The banks may own it, right? But if he does, and maybe he's taking his Rolls Royce and his Lamborghini and all the fancy cars and so on. Again, I hope he's going to come to his senses. I hope he's going to come to reality, and he's going to figure out this is a very dangerous game.
So basically, what you guys are asking for is, hey, give me the contracts with the fighters to show who's supposed to get paid first or who you promised that to. Is that basically it? So you can take the money and distribute as it should be.
Correct. Give us the waterfall, right? We have the waterfall, right? We can now back it up with contracts, right? And release.
Like I said in my last video, did Austin ruin his life because he wanted to one-up the Paul brothers and KSI? It'll definitely be interesting to see what happens now, but the main question everyone's asking is, where's the money?
Remaining money is held at Live by Live.
Okay.
And the reason it's held at Live by Live is that James Harden, Bryce Hall, Taylor all demanded that the money doesn't go to Social Gloves because they're afraid that whatever money is left, the remaining money, right, goes out the door. There is a rumor and there is some paperwork that shows that Austin has a first position, that he has an MFN with himself.
What's that mean?
An MFN means he's most favored nation. That could even become in front of all the fighters, multiple of them have a first position. He could be in front of all of them. So if the money goes to him, it may be gone. And when I sat with Austin, he was pretty clear, expected his money. Right? I said to him, I could have been clearer. I don't see how you're getting your money. I signed an agreement that says that the first $2 million, right, goes to James Harden.
Okay.
And it was James Harden and a little piece, the little baby out of that. I think it was 1.75 and 250, right? And the second piece goes to Bryce Hall, right? I mean, I don't see how he's what dream he was facing, but I can tell you that, all of those people in that first position want to make sure that the remaining money, which is nowhere near what Austin thinks it is, but it's a real number, right? Millions of dollars.
Sure.
Is protected.
So, I mean, the kid's got balls. I mean, Austin's got balls because the way I'm reading this, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the reason he's suing you is because he didn't get paid. So he wants his personal money that he was guaranteed in the fight contract. Is that what he's looking for?
Not really.
Oh,
we don't know.
Wow, so that actually clears up a lot, but also, obviously, this is the CEO of Live by Live's side of things. We've now seen Austin's side of things and Live by Live's side of things. What the truth is a little bit up in the air until either they settle it or a lawsuit settles it. So that'll be interesting to see. So if they don't come to an agreement, I guess we'll find out what happens in court. The thought of that just gives me anxiety for Austin, but it seems like his head is just way too far up his own ass to think straight. So I don't know if I really sympathize with him or not. And we're not talking small numbers here either. Like, I'm baffled at the way he's acting with all this.
It's definitely an in too deep moment.
He's definitely in way too deep. But hey, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of all this. If you guys want to watch the full interview, I'll be linking it in the description down below. It would be awesome if you showed Tom Ward some love from me because he was so nice to let me use all of this in my video. If you're new here, I welcome you to my channel. It'd be awesome if you subscribe, drop a like on this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.